Hi, good afternoon. My name is Anthony Chow. Welcome to OpenStack vBrownbag Tech Talk. I'm a software developer. I'm an active blogger. I talk about security, networking, and cloud-related technologies. Today, with the 10 minutes allocated to me, let's take a look at what a beginner should know about OpenStack. Of course, we hit the fundamental first. OpenStack is an open source cloud infrastructure, sometimes referred to as infrastructure as a service. Sometimes some people will call this an cloud OS also. OpenStack manages different resources, such as compute, storage, and networking, which are the three basic components of a cloud infrastructure. And OpenStack is Python-based, and it runs on Linux platform. If you Google OpenStack architecture, you will find this on the images. And this very well depicts all the different components, although it does not show all the components, but it does show some of the projects and how they interact with each other. As for me, as a developer or operator, I like this very much because it shows the different modules in a physical machine where you can deploy different modules at the board machines, and this is very useful for me. But what are the components of the OpenStack? OpenStack is being software. It follows a biennial release cycle. Usually it's on April and on October. Usually on the release, those are numbered, but for OpenStack, the release is by alphabet. Usually is by a city's name. I think Austin start with an A is a city, whereas for I release is the Ice House in Hong Kong. In fact, Ice House is not a city, it's a street where I grew up very close by. And then the last one that got released was in April, which is called Kilo. The next one is called Liberty, and so forth, and so on and so forth. I'm wondering, if we get to the C release, how would you do? Maybe we will call release AA. What can I think of is Aaron as a name, but I'm not sure how it will go. But there are different, the components in OpenStack is divided by projects. Usually, if you are very new to OpenStack, you may get confused because the project name is very specific. So for Nova, probably you cannot guess what is this, but you have to look through. Nova is for compute. For storage, we have three different projects. One is Cinder for the images, Glance for images, Cinder for block storage, and then the Shift for object storage. And of course, there's Neutron. Networking used to be under Nova, but then because the feature is limited, we will only be able to support the basic IP tables and Linux bridge. That's why we have a new project called Neutron that will expand the networking layer into a lot more bigger horizon. There are other major projects such as Keystone, which is for authentication. Horizon is for the web-based UI. And also there's Heat for orchestration, and Ceilometer is for measuring. I think this is very important if you need to charge back or to monitor the different resources, how are they being used. Each project exposed to the outside world with the API, and it's in the form of a RESTful API. API in OpenStack is very important. So this is how different endpoints, different clients, different entities is going to talk to the different projects. And also there is the message queue system. Some people talk to each other through the message bus. Most popular, I think, is the RabbitMQ message queue system. I think Red Hat used to use Qpit, but now I think later release of OpenStack also move to a RabbitMQ. There must be a technology reason, but I do not know exactly why. As far as project classification, it might be a little bit confusing. At the very beginning, and the inception of OpenStack, projects are called core projects, which means without those projects, OpenStack will not run. But later on, they moved to an incubation and integrated model, whereas integration means they are being tested as a whole at the gate. And doesn't mean you have to run all the integrated projects, but integration means they are integrated together as a whole. And then for new projects, you have to be at the incubation status before you get moved to integration. But there is a drawback because people tend to commit to the integrated project more than other projects. So some people will think that the new projects, if they don't have a big company who has backup, they will not have enough committers. That's why currently we are moving into a big tent concept where the projects are being classified by how they are, by the technical level, and then they get tagged to be, tag, T-A-G, that's tagged as different projects. I'm not sure when you go for a movie, how do you decide which movie to go on? Maybe because of the script, maybe of the title, or maybe because of the cast. One time, I have a favorite actor in the movie listed as the main cast. So I go to watch the movie. 2 minutes into the movie, my favorite character got shot. And he never come back as as a twin brother or as a ghost. How disappointed I am, because I was watching the movie because of that actor and he got killed in the first 2 minutes. This is exactly why OpenStack have this thing called Deathcore. If you go to this morning's keynote, they announced something like this, and this is exactly what Deathcore is trying to, they try to defend the OpenStack brand. If some commercial product wanted to have the trademark of OpenStack, they have to pass through a series. And the committee is trying to define the minimum feature set of OpenStack. There is a picture. You have to go through all these steps, and then step 10 is that OpenStack core means passing all the must-test criteria. So this is, I think, Deathcore is something new, and then there are more development going on. And later on, probably you will have seen more because this is only being announced in this morning. Okay, there are different deployment options for OpenStack. OpenStack being open source, we can always get it from GitHub and start it ourselves. But that requires the most technical expertise that you can have. The other option is that you can buy from distributions. Red Hat has OpenStack distributions. Ubuntu obviously has distribution. Another famous is Mirantis has a distribution. Even I think VMware has their own distributions. And with this distribution, some are free and some are paid versions. But the advantage of the distribution is that they come as a package. And for Ubuntu, there's a Juju. For Red Hat and Mirantis, they use Field to help you to deploy the whole thing. So it comes as a package and make it easier for you to deploy. And of course, if you buy some kind of distribution, you can always have services to support your deployment. Another way we can deploy OpenStack is the hosted private cloud, where you deploy the cloud off premises, but then you own the hardware, you own the operations, you own everything. There's another way is the public cloud. The difference between the public cloud and hosted private cloud is that the common theme is that it is being deployed off premises. But then if a public cloud, the public cloud vendor will be supporting the operations and also owns the hardware that the cloud is being on. And then always there is also the consultant and the integrators that can help deploy an OpenStack infrastructure. I could not find a good picture to depict the ecosystem. Usually a picture tells a lot of things, but I picked a few of the options that OpenStack does have a big ecosystem because people are trying to develop specific softwares to work with OpenStack so that it will be able to improve the performance or make it easy. Big data is a natural fit for OpenStack because of elastic way of a cloud. So I believe Cisco has a UCS and a reference architecture to see how to deploy a big data deployment on UCS. Rackspace and Red Hat also have a reference architecture on how to deploy big data. On the storage side, there is different vendors, SolidFire, ShiftStack, and also Ceph. Ceph happen to be a project name, and also the company is called Ceph. And they try to make storage more seamlessly. And in the networking side, of course, there is Akada, PermGrip, and Mikadura that work on Neutron, so to make the deployment, to make Neutron easier, because in a way, Neutron is very complicated. So we have to make it more easier for deployment, and this is making up the ecosystem. Of course, we cannot overlook PaaS because they run on top of OpenStack. Another question is OpenStack enterprise ready? 15 years ago, if you buy Cisco equipment, you'll never get fired. Can we say the same thing for OpenStack today? I think we have to look at different things for to answer the question, is OpenStack enterprise ready? One way is high availability. OpenStack's claim, the OpenStack software can maintain 99% availability, but they do not guarantee the VMs or application that runs on OpenStack to have that. And of course, security is a big reason. And today, this morning, we can see at the keynote, there is a demonstration of a new sitcom called Unreal. They stream the whole, they filmed it and then move it to a different cloud. And then this is, because in the filming industry, security is an important thing. And also with security, in the Kilo release, the Keystone Federation is an important element to move people towards security, as well as there is a Kilo can also, the Keystone in Kilo release can also help us to use Microsoft Active Directory as a backend, and that is a big way to push OpenStack to be enterprise ready. And of course, VIO, VMware integrated OpenStack. If you want to already have an existing VMware infrastructure and you do not want to use VMware's cloud deployment, you can always use VIO to have OpenStack run on top of the existing infrastructure. But there is some drawback because OpenStack have 2 releases every year. Sometimes it's difficult to catch on. Why do we have to catch on? We can stay on the old release. But one thing is that open source in OpenStack in open source maintain the stable branch for only 2 release back. So if the release are moving on, the release the old releases might not be a stable one. Bug fixes will not be going in. So you might have been running the risk of have to catch up with the new releases. And also at this time, upgrade from one release to another in OpenStack is not a trivial thing. So this might take some in-house expertise. So whether this question, OpenStack is ready or not, is up to individual company. And I see more and more companies are running mission-critical application on OpenStack. Of course, OpenStack can solve a lot of problems as inherited because it's a kind of a cloud. Companies that use OpenStack, of course, this morning, we talk about Walmart. Walmart is being an e-commerce, and last year, we see CERN being a European research institute is heavy on Ceph. BMW is a very good also an example, because it has a global data center. Before they try to have, they have tried to have a homegrown private cloud, but then they said OpenStack has good APIs and data structure as well as no licensing. So that's why they moved to OpenStack. And BMW claims to have 25% cost efficiency over its competitor. While being said that, the total cost of ownership of OpenStack may not be easy to measure. Even though that you don't have license, you can run on commodity hardware, but there are hidden costs for support and operations, which may be difficult to measure. And then there's also different ways of how to get started. There's a DevStack you can try, and there's also Meetup you can join, and of course this is OpenStack Summit that we are here today. Thank you so much.